Okay, this is going to be easier to do in a video than to try and describe in words how to cut the mouth clear piece for your robot. You can see it fits in just like this. It's flush against the front. This is my cutting master, and what I will do is I will trace it with the China marker, and so you'll receive your piece just like this, and I will do my best to clean off the dust. But that working outside, this is what you get. So basically what we're doing is you want to cut off this back part because it's not used at all. And you don't need a knife or a Dremel or anything. You can just use a pair of scissors. And these aren't even good ones. And they are more than adequate to the task. And then you want to stay, since this is the front of the mouth and this is the part that hits up against the upper part of the head, you want to give yourself a little bit extra here just to make sure. The line I drew is well outside, well, not well, it's outside of the cutting path. So even if you cut right up against the line, you still probably have more than you need, but it's best just to make sure that you don't cut too much, because that's the only way you can really screw this up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to sneak up on that line. Okay, so we got all the extra off here, and now it's going to be a lot more flexible and easier to cut. Okay, so I'm going to cut first the back, which of course is down in here, so it doesn't really matter if it's perfect. And I'm going to cut right outside the back of the line. Okay. Come on. All right, let's see, I got my end. So at this point, and you got that cut, you can slide it in there and see how it's fitting. So the back is going in, and of course we've got way too much up here, so what we're going to do is we're going to come right up against that line and see where that gets us. And I'm leaving, a little bit. Oop, I don't want to cross the line. Okay, so we'll test fit. And it's actually fitting inside here on the right, you can see, but the left side is still too high, so we're going to have to cut out some more of that. And I cut off maybe like I don't know what this is, a 32nd of an inch, a couple millimeters at a time, just to make sure that we're sneaking up on it, but we don't cut too much. We don't want a gap. Okay, we're still not able to sit down in there, so I'm going to cut a little bit more. And this is pretty much cutting off the black line at this point. Okay, a little bit of a trace left. Okay, still not in there, a little bit more. So we got a little bit of the black there, so that's a high spot. Okay, this side isn't fitting in there real good. It's pushing against the top, so I'm going to trim that down a little bit too. The top of this window is actually going to be resting up against this part. It's not actually glued. All your glue is going to be down here at the bottom. So it just needs to sit in there. And that is pretty close. I might cut a little bit more. It wants to pop out. In fact, I think the back is pushing against here, so I'm going to cut a little bit off the back and see if it just wants to sit in there a little bit more, and maybe even more towards the middle than on the sides, because there is a little flex there. Okay, and then back. That's pretty good. Okay, we're still moving a little bit, but you get the idea. So basically what we're going to do is just kind of sneak up on it until it gets like that, and then you'll glue it in place. And of course, once you put your teeth in there, but it's pretty easy to do once you know the trick. Thanks.